Hang on, don't say anything yet. People. Oh, I did. I already did what I was supposed to do. Gosh, I'm smart. Anyway, hey. Sorry, here we go. Hi there, you're watching North of Weatherfield, the Canadian Coronation Street podcast, where we talk about Coronation Street, except the Canadian version. But it's not really a Canadian version, it's the same version, except it's just behind about 30 days or so. My name is... Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say episodes that aired in Canada March 18th to March 22nd.
That's how far behind we are. Because I don't even know what day it is anymore. But it's not then. That was in the past. My name is Brittlestar.
I'm Shannon.
These aren't our real names, obviously. This week, our names are... Can I be Steve?
All right. Haven't you been Steve really recently? You can be Steve. He's had a tough week.
He's had a tough week. No, I'm going to be Tim. I'm going to be Tim.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how to do Tim. You choose yours and
okay.
I'll figure it out.
I'm going to be Carla. Right. Well, is that what she said? I mean, that's what I heard. Oh, I've just turned the TV on. Woo. I was trying to make clattering like her jewelry and I've just pressed a bunch of buttons.
That's basically Carla's character. She just tries to rattle her jewelry and presses a bunch of buttons.
Yes.
That's basically it. She presses people's buttons. Tim's going, this is my Tim. For people listening at home, I'm looking concerned and slightly puzzled.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm not even going to try to do the accent. It's too hard.
No. Yeah. I have successfully turned off the television, so that's pretty good.
Listen, we're flying here. It's all going well here because as many of you viewers can tell, I am not in the same room as you currently. I'm over in the UK again.
Correct. So, again, not touring the set, though.
No, nothing to do with Coronation Street, sadly, because last time I was in Manchester and you forbade me from touring the Coronation Street set.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't
there. Now I'm just in London now, where they don't do anything.
Just nothing happens there.
Nothing happens in London. Okay, let's do the theme. Ready?
Yes.
Here it comes. I don't know if it's playing or not.
I can't hear it.
Woo! Oh, there we go.
There you go. So as
pretty good.
As you're saying, that these are the episodes that aired in Canada March 18th to March 22nd. And we're going to be talking about everything that happened. So if you haven't seen them yet and don't want anything spoiled, don't listen.
Avert your ears.
Avert your ears and eyes. Yes.
Exactly.
This week, we're going to be talking about Tim, Sally, Tracy, Tommy, and Steve. That whole group.
Mama.
We're going to be talking about Bethany, Daisy, and Daniel again. We're going to be talking about Daisy, Carla, and Jenny. Bobby and Lauren. Dylan. Harvey and Adam. And a little bit about DeeDee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Less interested, but okay.
I know. Well, I felt there was an awful lot of storylines I had to cover here, but I'm not that interested in a lot of them. Or rather, I felt we didn't need to have... We've got too many... I think they've changed up their writers recently because we've got too many storylines happening at the same time now. It used to be they'd just make you have 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Now we've got like 5 or 6.
Now there's so much stuff happening.
Yes.
Exactly.
So Tim, Tracy, Sally, Tommy, Steve. So Tim was showing Gav how to climb a ladder. So Gav had been going around starting this window cleaning business. And then it turned out he'd never actually been on a ladder before.
Did that only happen this week? Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That was Monday. Amazing. I know. So it was very lovely. Tim offered to show him how to do it and do it properly. And he showed him by climbing up the ladder because they were going to be doing the Barlow household. And Tim looked in the window and saw Tracy in bed with who she presumed was Steve. He presumed was Steve. He went down. He was all shocked. He said to Gav, no, you don't want to go up there. Tim goes away. Windows don't get cleaned.
Is that slang?
Yeah. Tracy's windows got their cleaning was interrupted.
Filth.
So Tim goes and tells Sally what he saw. And then Sally, when she sees Steve, she's talking to him. And I would like to say that the never-ending double entendres with Sally and Steve talking were fantastic, highly enjoyable.
I agree.
Yeah.
And what's funny, I noticed actually, have you noticed that Sally's character, she gets a lot of double entendres. Like she does that a lot.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Yes.
Yeah. She's
Now,
good at them because she seems so innocent when she's saying them.
I see. She doesn't seem innocent. She seems prim and proper.
Yeah, that's true. She knows what she's doing.
So anyways, in the middle of doing all this, she's probably thinking that Steve will be finding these jokes really funny as well. Turns out Steve knows nothing. He mentions that he has been doing it wasn't an airport run, but same sort of thing. He's basically been driving the car all day, has not been in town. Mm-hmm. And just then, Tommy O pulls up and Sally goes,
Tommy.
Got it. Okay.
Tommy.
So Sally has to tell Tim what's going on because she is afraid that Tim is going to be making jokes to Steve and then Steve's going to find out accidentally what's going on. Mm-hmm. Tim is angry. That's his bestie. Confronts Tracy, tricks her into admitting that it was Tommy, and tells her, okay, look, you have to tell Steve about this. And Tracy's like, yep, you're right. I do. So she goes home ready to tell Steve all about it. And Amy and Steve are there waiting. Steve does a vow renewal proposal. Amy's all excited about it. And Tracy's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I think we should get married again and renew our vows.
Oh.
So poor Steve then goes to tell Tim how excited he is. And Tim's like, should not tell you anything. And he said, no. And Tim, being a good friend, is like, okay, listen, I have to tell you. And that was, I would say, I like that those two will often have good
I agree.
Emotional conversations isn't the word, but yeah.
No, but like why did they go fishing again? It was something to do with Tim, right? It was because of his erectile dysfunction. And they went to go fishing.
Yes.
And see if they can get his rod up. And they went fishing together. And it was nice because I think those two characters are good because they show like middle-aged guys that it's okay to talk.
Yes.
To your pals.
Yes, like a positive example. Weird as the two of them are separately. Their friendship is actually a nice friendship. Yes, I agree. So anyways, poor Steve was heartbroken.
As he should be.
Believed Tim, which is good. When he got home, he confronted Tracy about it. Tracy admitted everything. They decide, and he's like, let's see if we can fix this. And she's like, no, not interested.
I know.
And then later on, as Steve is preparing to head out, Ken and Amy are asking what's going on. And Tracy, right in front of Ken and Amy, was like, yep, we're breaking up. It's over.
I know.
I've been sleeping with Tommy Orpington, and it's nothing to do with Tommy. If it wasn't him, it would have been someone else. Oh. I was just bored. And then the most personal of insults. She called Steve a cardigan. Like a cardigan is a bad thing.
I know that. I remember watching that episode with you, and you were personally insulted. You and I we side looked at each other like, oh no.
Like, if anything, Tommy O would be my cardigan because I have a lot of them.
What does that mean, Shannon?
Except I only have a lot of cardigans. What I'm saying is, Tracy just has one boring old drab cardigan.
A lot of backpedaling happening here. You have lots of Tommy O's. Got it. I understand what you're saying.
Is that like Cheerios?
Well, I don't know what you call them. Maybe they call them that in England.
So Steve then shows up at the Metcalf door, says, can I come in and stay for the night? And Tim's like, yeah, sure, but let's go to the pub. Yeah. Turns out Tommy O is inside.
Yes.
Steve unhappy. Steve goes in, and Steve and Tim confront Tommy. Yeah. Good for Tim, standing up for him, telling him how unhappy he is with it all. Then Tommy goes to shove Tim and instead knocks a can of paint over all over the kitchen. I did appreciate that they actually really did kind of wreck their set, although they made it land very carefully.
They also made Sally have the cheapest laminate vinyl.
Yes, there's no way she had that floor.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's true. They probably put down a different floor that day.
Yeah, exactly.
So they head out to the Rovers. And then a while later, Ken comes by, buys Steve a pint, and says, Steve, come back to the house. Goes back to the house, and Ken and Amy are like, yep, Steve's staying. Tracy, you got to go. You're the one who's the problem.
My favorite of the scene in the Rovers, though, when Ken buys the pint for Steve, is that he brings the pint over, and he's got 2 pints in his hands. He said, mind if I join you? And first of all, I think he was holding a full pint, 2 full pints.
No, Ken always has a half in one of those glasses.
I know, but I think he was holding 2 full pints because Tim looked eager, like, oh, this is a turn up. This is exciting. And then he sat down and Tim went, with his glass, yeah, okay, cheers. He didn't have any beer left.
I don't think Tim would have assumed that. Like, I think they just have Ken's glass. I think that's the only glass they have like that in the pub.
Well, maybe, but I think that was a setup to make Tim feel even worse. So.
Right. And then Bethany, Daisy, and Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
So
don't sigh over poor Bethany.
So Bethany's been getting threats from white supremacist group. Your poor Bethany.
Exactly.
I don't think there's much to be known about this now. I think they're just planting stuff for the future. I don't think it's affecting anything currently.
I think you're right.
Bethany encourages Daisy. So Bethany sees Jenny being very dismissive and you're my underling to Daisy. And when Daisy's suggesting they get Newton and Ridley back in because all of the punters are unhappy.
That's right.
And Bethany says to Daisy, like, why do you put up with her talking to you like that? Why don't you go and source Newton and Ridley, get a good deal for the pub so that we don't have to have this a swill of microbreweries. They're all complaining about the microbreweries. They want their Newton and Ridley back.
The one, what was it called? Nuns Cross or something, or Nuns something?
I can't
Nuns
remember.
Affront, and it was brewed by former inmates or something.
Yes. So that was kind of nice because Daisy's like, yeah, I think I will. So they're back on track again. Like every time they go off track, the two of them, they get back on track because they are very similar people.
Yes. Yeah.
So then Daniel, for some reason, has asked Daisy to mind Bertie.
Yeah, that was weird, I thought.
That was weird. So I think he was maybe trying to like suck back up a little again.
But in also, a weird way. Would you mind taking care of my child?
Can we talk about things that we apparently haven't learned since the pandemic when we all promised we'd learn these things? He's like, Bertie has the sniffles, so he's not going to school. Can you take him with you to your work? And then you're going to be talking to Rita for her 92nd birthday. And I'm sure that none of the, sniffle snot from Bertie is going to get on Daisy and make its way to Rita.
No. That's not
then also Daniel was working from home, apparently.
Teaching the kids from home? I don't know. There's a lot there.
So Bethany was a little put out that she wasn't asked to look after him. And then anyway, so Bethany and Daisy are kind of back on track. And then the article comes out, My Torrid Affair with Acid Attack Victim in Chit Chat. And Mary, in going to send it to Glenda, accidentally sends it to the Weatherfield Oldies group chat. I don't know quite
somehow
what it was. Yes.
Yeah.
So then everyone read it, and obviously everybody knew immediately who it was. Gets back to Daisy. Daisy is understandably super upset. And she accuses Daniel of being Bethany's source. And of course, Lauren was her main source. But Daniel starts to wonder if he was the source. But yeah, you were. Like, there's no way he wasn't telling her almost everything that happened.
Sure. That's not Bethany's fault.
No. And then she tells Daniel that she heard he was always jealous of her journalism career. That didn't go down very well either.
That was stinging. I thought you could tell he was hurt by that.
Serves him right.
It does serve him right. You're right. I agree.
Yeah. So while Daisy was doing the Newton and Ridley thing, so now we're on to Carla. Carla was at the hotel, and a man came up to her thinking that she said, "Are you Daisy, the owner of the Rover's Return, who I'm trying to contact to get this Newton Ridley thing going?" And Carla was like, "Daisy's not the owner." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, no, she is. Yep." Carla clatters her way back to the pub to tell Jenny, who is her what, stepmom? I can't remember. Anyways, is about to rat Daisy out. And then she overhears Jenny and Daisy talking because Jenny was telling Daisy off for getting this contract. And it's like, oh, no, yeah, we are co-owners. And Carla's like, oh, how did that happen? Where'd the money come from? And of course, it's Carla's money. They've stolen Carla's money. And so, yes. So they're trying to get rid of the suspicions, but they said that they borrowed the money from Daisy's mom.
I had a problem with that whole scene. A couple of things. One is that Carla in the hotel saying that the guy said, "Are you Daisy's Rover's return?" And she's like, the owner. And she was like, "No, I'm not." And why would you say that? The owner is actually Jenny, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what are you doing? Just get butt out, Carla. Butt out.
Absolutely.
And then when they were in the Rovers and they're talking about where'd you get the money from? I was like, also, shut up, Carla. Who cares? It's not your... I thought that was nosy and needless and... Like, why would it? No one would really do that, I don't think, except for the worst type of people.
Well, I don't think
Carla's the worst type of people.
I think some people would do that, but I don't think Carla's that kind of person. And can you imagine if you asked Carla where she got the money to once again save the factory or whatever she's doing?
This is the 8th time the factory's burned down. Where'd you get this money?
Yeah.
Or you just got your hair cut. Who paid for that? She'd be offended. She'd be livid.
I agree. Yeah. Especially when she's always, very supportive of women in business.
Yeah, she would clatter around and then she'd hit a bunch of buttons and turn the TV on by accident.
Was that you tossing your glossy mane?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People can't hear it, but it sounds like this.
Yes, but anyways, then Jenny and Daisy kind of made up because Jenny was getting worried about Daisy after the article came out because poor Daisy was quite upset.
Yeah. Plus, Newton Ridley was going over gangbusters.
Exactly. Everyone would stop complaining. So Bobby and Lauren. So Bobby goes to visit Lauren. Is at the door of her flat. Music absolutely blaring. Knocks.
I don't know if it was blaring. That's an exaggeration. The radio was on.
No, but it was on very loud, meaning I think he believed she couldn't hear him knocking.
Maybe.
And I think that was a fair assumption. And he tried looking through. I don't trust
your assumption about radios and music loudness, though.
Oh, yeah, no, it wouldn't have been allowed to be that loud in my house. Definitely not. And looked through the letterbox, couldn't see anything. And so he tried the door and the door just opened. Which even the houses in Coronation Street don't have doorknobs to open and close them. They all just use their key.
Yeah.
So the fact that this flat, suddenly you're able to turn a doorknob or something?
But he also turned the latch as well. Like he pushed it through and the latch just opened. It wasn't locked.
Did he just push the door?
Yeah, it wasn't like he didn't turn the handle and open it. He turned the handle, but the thing up top was not connected to anything. I don't think he turned the handle either, actually. He just pushed the door.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, goes in, pan in the sink and a bacon butty sitting on the countertop. And he's like, that's not very usual. Turns off the radio. He's getting worried about her. I thought it was weird he didn't go and look in the bedroom. Or the bathroom. Do you know what I mean? Like, is she passed out somewhere? Let's go look in the only other two rooms in the flat.
I'm assuming he did that over the commercial or something.
While we went to break.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So good on Bobby. He decides to report it to Craig. That he's concerned about her missing. Doesn't mention it to anyone else, just goes straight to Craig. Anyways, Craig is like, yeah, whatever. And then he's like, no, she was covered in bruises. And then Craig is a little more interested. So I have a theory.
Fuzz, man.
I have a theory of where Lauren is.
You do? Okay, good. What is it?
I do. I think the white supremacists have grabbed her. I think her dad's gang have grabbed her.
Yeah, I think it's her dad's gang, and I think it's.
And I think they're annoyed that. I was just going to say, I think they're annoyed that she gave Bethany their contact info.
Yeah, I think it's those guys. I think it's specifically her dad's pal.
Scraggly hair.
He's been like beating her up and stuff as well. I think it's the same dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
No good nicks.
No good nicks. That's the name of their gang.
Dylan was redeeming himself.
Somewhat.
This week. Yes, somewhat. So he was speaking with George and he was basically saying that he empathized with Liam. He felt awful. He was afraid that if he didn't go along with it, that Mason would then target him. George told Dylan his story about how he was bullied at school, which was just so sad. And Dylan decides, okay, that's it. He says, George, I'm going to go apologize to Liam because I got to get this back on track. He goes to, arrives at the flat to go up, and Mason, for some reason, is there.
Is hanging out?
I don't know. Just hanging out on Coronation Street at Victoria Court. Don't know. And he basically says, you better not be going up to see Liam. And he's like, no, of course not. I was just going to, I don't know, bring him some schoolwork or something. I don't know. And Mason basically says, don't you dare talk to him. Don't tell anyone anything. Let's go. We're leaving. You're not staying here. Ugh. So away they go. Dylan later that day goes to see Crawshaw with Sean and shows her the messages. She's horrified. They're all under pseudonyms. He's told her which is his pseudonym. Then she says, who created the other ones? And Dylan refuses to say anything. And eventually he just says, it was me. I created them all. And she knows that's not true.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do? And now he's put himself in line. My question is he going to end up with legal problems beyond just suspension because he claimed that he was all those? Like, was Mason saying really bad stuff?
He's going to take the hit for it. He's going to take the fall for it all. And then Mason's going to get away with it and not learn any lessons and just continue. It's Dylan's idea. He's worried he's going to get beaten up, basically. He's worried, as he said to
or targeted
Sean,
the same way as Liam is.
Yeah, exactly. As he said to Sean, I think he said to Sean, or maybe he said to George, I was afraid that I'm going to be the one that gets bullied if I don't, pick a side, basically.
So is Mason ever going to get a comeuppance?
Yes, I do think he's going to. Because I think what's going to happen is we thought that Liam was going to be pushed too far and snap. And I think what's going to happen is going to turn into Dylan. I think Dylan's his character is much more of the kind who'd be like, okay, this has got to stop. He's going to hit that sooner than Liam will. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. I like that.
That's my prediction.
I like anything that has a way to see Mason's downfall coming. I approve.
And I do want to say, because Sharon in the comments wrote that I hope that he ends up just getting a devastating haircut. Like, who was it, Max or something like that?
No, like David gave to one of the girls that was bullying Bethany back in the day.
Yes, back in the day. And that should be his come up as a devastating haircut. And then someone else replied to that, I can't remember who it was, said he's already got a devastating haircut. That's the kind of friendly banter that happens in the comment section of North of Weatherfield
on Substack,
or just weatherfield.ca, by the way. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
All right, Harvey and Adam. They weren't in it for very much time, but I think we were basically setting up that I think next week is going to be a lot of this. So I couldn't remember. Is his name John, the guy who says he's going to take the fall?
I think so.
Harvey?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
John tells Adam, oh, yeah, I just remembered. I actually, when I was supposed to be murdering Natasha, I was buying a chocolate bar or two at the shop near my house during the storm. First of all, weird that he remembers that.
Yeah.
And then also he's like, did you pay by cash or pay by card? And he's like, no, I paid by cash. Also weird things to remember. And then Adam's like, what about CCTV? And so they go, I guess Adam goes to the shop and finds out they still have the CCTV footage of that night, something to do with a storm damage claim from that night.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
I couldn't, is it not settled 2 years later?
You would think
going
so.
on? Yeah. Anyways, Adam brings the USB back and he's looking at it on his laptop, and DeeDee comes in and he pretends it's all nothing. He's like, oh, it's just old client files I was getting rid of. I don't need them anymore. What do we think Adam's planning on doing with this video?
He wants to delete it. First of all, he wants to check to see if it's incriminating, if it shows the guy clearly enough. Mm-hmm. Or if it's obscured and he's like, it's not him. He can argue that it's not him.
Or
what?
Or does he want to see if it does show John clearly? Is he going to keep it and keep it quiet? And then after Harvey gets rid of Damon for him, is he actually going to put Harvey back in jail?
I like that idea. That's a good twist.
See all the devious thoughts I have while you're away? I'm like, this is what
a little
this
distressing. I don't like the fact that you planned out how to double cross someone, that you referred to Tommy O as like a cardigan because you've got many of them. I don't like any of this. I don't like any of it.
So Nick and Leanne tell Sam that Harvey's going to be appealing. Sam, once again, the most mature resident of Coronation Street area of Weatherfield. And he's like, well, its grounds for appeal are quite shaky and they don't usually grant that kind of thing. So I'm sure it'll be fine. Damon and Sarah overhear this, and Damon is like, he's probably got someone to, like, he's probably paid someone a ton of money to cover it up for him.
Take the fall.
And then Damon calls Harvey.
Yeah, I know.
So first of all, they must never do any kind of checking of cells there, because
no room sweeps. Exactly.
He's hearing the phone buzz, and that's how he knows to pull it out from the edge of his mattress.
Going, hello?
Yes, exactly.
Who's that guy saying hello to in the cell by himself?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Listen, I just feel prisons need to just put up one of those cell phone blockers like they used to have at the airport to make you have to use the Bell telephone payphones when you got there. Remember that?
I do remember that. I do also. I like the fact that we're just blaming the prison system in Britain as opposed to the rioting on Coronation Street. The prison system in Britain has to change. If that's any indication of what's going on in there, that's terrible.
Also, the British system needs to have more people who don't leave the house forgetting their cell phones during big storms or when a murder's after them. Yes.
That's probably key.
And then the last thing, DeeDee. DeeDee, come on.
DeeDee, come on.
So
what do you think? Okay, so you explain what happened.
So Alia tells DeeDee her suspicions. DeeDee confronts Joel. Joel says, yes, I'm actually married, but I've been separated from my wife for about 1.5 years. And dun, 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 I have a 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And that's who the jewelry was for. He bought her, I don't know, a necklace or something.
Sketchy.
Yes.
Sketchy.
Well, yes. Okay. And so he promises DeeDee, that's it. I've told you everything. I want to keep going with this. And DeeDee's like, nope, can't trust you.
Right.
Joel's wife, Emily, shows up on DeeDee's doorstep, says, can I talk to you? And she basically says, you should give Joel another chance. He's a great guy. She's like, why and she's like, we did indeed break up, like when I was pregnant, and he's a great dad, blah, blah, blah. But also DeeDee's like, why'd you guys break up? And she's like, oh, he cheated on me.
That was weird.
But go for it, DeeDee. I really think you should.
And said he was a good man. It's weird.
Yes. It's like, if he's a good man and he made a mistake by cheating on you, why don't you take him back?
Yeah. Why is his ex showing up, selling him, marketing him?
Yes.
That's weird.
Yes. So DeeDee goes for drinks with Alia and Toya. They're talking about, how they're better off single, all that kind of stuff.
How Steve used to be super hot. That was pretty great.
He looked like he could have been in a boy band. I like that.
I like the joke. Which boy band? The Rolling Stones? Yeah.
I also thought it was funny that they didn't even mention, what's Steve's twin called again? The guy who lives in Spain? Andy.
Andy, yeah.
They didn't even mention him. It's like, why wouldn't you say, like the McDonald twins?
The McDonald twins. Were they twins?
Yes, fraternal twins.
They weren't twins. They're fraternal twins.
Yes, that's still twins.
That's still twins. Yeah.
Yes.
Not as impressive, not cool, but yeah.
And so Joel has indeed left her alone as she requested. Alia shows up at the flat later with a bottle of wine for DeeDee, and she's like, do you want to talk about it? So I have a few questions.
Okay.
Is DeeDee just wondering if she shouldn't have sent Joel away, if she made the wrong choice, or is there something else?
No, it's correct. She thinks she's thinking to myself. She's thinking to her, not her, myself. She's thinking to herself. Why did I let him go? Maybe I shouldn't have let him go. Maybe he was a good thing. Maybe if I'm able to get past this, he's a good guy. if his ex-wife says he's a good guy and the mother of his child says he's a good guy, maybe he's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then her spidey senses should be tingling because it's like, why? Why is his ex-wife saying that?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? Is his ex-wife just looking for more childcare? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because maybe Mabel, what was her name?
I don't know.
Maybe she could play with Glory.
Exactly.
And the two of them could just be, out of her hair.
Could just be left. Exactly. The parents could go in for a pint, leave the kids outside.
Yeah, or leave them with whoever looks after Glory all the time. I don't know who it is.
Emily Bishop,
probably. And okay, the other thing I want to talk about. So Alia doesn't drink.
Yes.
So Toya and DeeDee got these like pink gin cocktails in these sort of goblets, lots of fruit in them, lovely bright pink. And Alia got a pink lemonade that came in a glass a quarter of the size, with no fruit, no garnish. It's like, why wouldn't you just give her
the same glass
looking thing?
Especially because Toya is the one that poured them. It's not like she has to remember which. Like, it's not like she's not going to know which one has no alcohol in it.
I thought that was weird.
Yeah, but that whole scene was weird. I thought the Alia, Toya, and DeeDee scene was weird. It was, again, one of those scenes where it's like it's like Tim sitting with Bobby. It's like, why are you guys together?
Well, to be fair, Alia and Toya had bonded over discovering Emily recently. Remember? Toya showed her the CCTV footage from the bistro.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For no reason.
For no reason. Again, probably because Bobby put her up to it.
So yes, I was going to say that's all. That was a lot of stuff that happened.
That was a lot of stuff, exactly. And I crammed in the last episode this morning here in the UK through CBC Gem, through illicit means. And
I feel as a Canadian citizen, you have a right to it.
Exactly. I should have a constitutional right to watch Coronation Street wherever I am on the globe.
Actually, I think it would be a charter right.
Or a charter right, exactly. Through CBC Gem, I'm allowed to watch it anywhere in the world. I think you're right, absolutely. But it was good. It was a good week. It was pretty good. And I think, what's your storylines that you're most interested in?
I think I'm interested where Lauren goes. I'm interested in Dylan. I want Dylan to redeem himself.
I agree.
I like Dylan. I don't know if it's just because Dylan looks exactly like a friend of mine from high school when he was that age.
Oh, yes, that's right. You're saying
walks like him and everything. I feel that maybe I have a bit too much of a soft spot for Dylan. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's good. He's a nice boy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, if they start stirring up the Daisy and Jenny owning the pub with the money they stole from Carla stuff, I hope they do it properly, because I didn't like the vague attempt at it this week.
Plus, also kind of with that whole thing with their money at the pub and stuff like that. It is. I mean, it's going to come back in some way, but it's not. I don't really care that much about it. It's done. Everyone wanted the pub open, so that's great. Good for you. Plus, didn't Carla get her insurance money? Not that I'm endorsing insurance fraud, but didn't she get her money anyway?
I mean, the factory was saved yet again, so possibly.
Yeah,
but maybe I think she just was a real leader and just managed to get them a big contract.
I think they
all had to work overtime.
I think there was. I think she got her insurance, and I think that Carla, if she was smart, she'd shut up, because then she's going to be implicated in insurance fraud.
Right.
You know each other. How can you not? How would you have not known this?
True.
Yeah.
True.
I'm just looking out for Carla.
So this point, I want to say that if people subscribe to this podcast on Substack, which is free, then they can go and comment in the comment section there, which is where we've been seeing people talking back and forth. And if you are writing in the comments, let us know what storylines you are looking forward to seeing and what you think is coming. And nobody is allowed to cheat. Nobody is allowed to know anything about the future.
Yeah, no
this has to be
fortune telling.
Just from your head. Yeah,
that's right. Exactly. Yeah. And you can find us now online at weatherfield.ca. That's weatherfield.ca. Get it? Because it's .ca, like it's Weatherfield, but it's in Canada.
That's
pretty
very
good, right?
clever. Yeah, it's very
Thank
clever.
you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And the theme
Wasn't
song
your
is
idea.
great. I don't know, probably.
The theme song is great. Is that my cue to play the theme song?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to play the theme song. Get ready. Here it goes.
Right. Okay. I'm going to just only clatter certain things because I can't make too much things go on and off, but that's just...
Did he?
It's too much.
Did he? Steve? Did he? Did he?
The way you said Steve was pretty good. That was very Tim-like.
Was it? I thought it was my weakest.
Yes. Oh, this thing's flashing. I don't know what this thing does, but it's flashing now.
It's because you pressed the button on it, Shannon.
Probably.
How many buttons? I'll come back from the UK and all the buttons will have been pressed.
Yes. Correct.
Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching North of Weatherfield, a Canadian Coronation Street podcast. We are rocketing up the charts. I think we're the #1 Canadian Coronation Street podcast out there.
Excellent.
I don't know where you find that chart, but I'm sure we are.
Yeah.
It's good.
I can get a whiteboard and I can write it up.
And it'll be back to, you and I will be back in the same place next weekend.
Yes.
So, yeah. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And yeah, that's it. Do you have anything else to say, Shannon?
Nope.
Okay. What was it? That's so tidy. Wasn't it? See ya.